Hey everyone, Maxtortion here, coming at you with another Legacy video. Today we're playing the Saturday Night Challenge on June 8th, so the weekend before Modern Horizons 3 drops. And as a bit of a send-off to the current format, I am playing a deck that I really enjoy and haven't recorded with yet. I actually top 4'd the Sunday Challenge with it last week. It's Tempo Doomsday. And so you will see in this deck your standard Doomsday pieces. Of course, we've got 4 Doomsdays, we've got Dark Ritual, we've got some ways, 2 Thassa's Oracle to win the game with Doomsday. We've got Lion's Eye Diamond, Consider, we've got Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, these cards that you would really just expect in your Doomsday pile to try to win the game. However, what makes it Tempo Doomsday is that we've got a little bit of a plan B as well. So everybody loves Grief, of course. The magic card du jour that people are saying, is a bit too efficient as far as what it does. The Grief Reanimate play is pretty disgusting. And so we're in black. We're playing black cards. Let's play some Griefs and Reanimates. And then why not, while we're there, also play a couple Orcish Bowmasters to flash in and kind of create this whole plan where we can deal 20 damage. And then we got one Murktide Regent to kind of round out the threat base. And so this deck has a lot of cool little micro synergies in it. One of the things that is fun is that so this Quicken card is here because I saw a really clever Japanese player using Quicken to beat an Orcish Bowmasters that was in play, because Quicken lets you essentially win at instant speed so that you don't end up dying to Orcish Bowmaster damage triggers when you're drawing extra cards, because you essentially win the game with these on the stack. So how that works is you cast a Consider. You have your next, in your Doomsday pile, your next card is Thassa's Oracle. You put it in the graveyard. You draw your Quicken, at which point an Orcish Bowmaster trigger goes on the stack because you drew his Consider. And with that trigger on the stack, you cast your Quicken, and you draw another card. There's another Orcish Bowmaster trigger on the stack. But the next card you drew is Reanimate, which is normally a sorcery. But at this point, since we've played a Quicken, you can now cast this at instant speed. So you've got these Orcish Bowmaster triggers on the stack, and now you can Quickened Reanimate the Thassa's Oracle and win at instant speed. So that's a cool little micro synergy. Another thing that we've got going here is that the Dark Rituals don't just have to turbo out Doomsday. You can accelerate out a Grief, by with using this as just like how they intended it in 1993, where you're just playing a 4-drop and costing you an extra card. Obviously, you can do, if things line up just right, you can Quicken a Reanimate in response to your opponent's reanimation spell, which I have yet to do, but I'm aware of it and I'm excited about it. One other thing to be aware of that's kind of a cool synergy in this deck is that Murktide Regent grows whenever an instant or sorcery card leaves your graveyard. So Doomsday, the way that this works, this is not the actual Oracle text, but one thing it does is it, once you're done making your pile, is it empties the graveyard. It exiles all those cards. And so all the instants and sorceries that are in your graveyard when Doomsday resolves will end up growing your Murktide Regent. So it's a cool little extra pump spell. Let's see. Are there other extra synergies that I wanted to talk about? I'm not playing a Cavern of Souls because the Grief Reanimate plan goes so hard on being able to disrupt the opponent that in order to keep the land base pretty light, I was able to just to cut the Cavern, because Cavern doesn't tap for blue or black. And most of the time with this deck, to be honest, we're doing stuff like Consider, bin Thassa's Oracle, draw, Reanimate. So we're not using Cavern mana anyway. Also, between like Dress Down, Stifle, Endurance, there's just so many cards that people play that Cavern of Souls doesn't beat. I currently don't feel like it's worth the inclusion. Now this is the sideboard. I've got 2 Brazen Borrowers, 3 Force of Negation, 1 Subtlety, which I'm kind of meh on. 2 Duresses, 2 Nihil Spellbombs, 2 Sheoldred. This is the card I was kind of thinking of swapping out the Subtlety for. Or it might just do a Hydro Blast instead of Subtlety. I'm just kind of trying to think about what to do here. Got Dismember Fatal Push as creature removal. This is essentially comes in against Delver, other combo. A cool thing about this deck is that post board you can pivot to go heavier in on the combo against decks that are soft to the combo. You can go lighter on the combo, or remove it entirely against decks that are well suited to answer it. You can, and you're not actually locked in to what you need to do. You can be flexible and change that around depending upon what your opponent is doing or what you anticipate them to do. So say you beat them with Doomsday in game 1. You might want to cut all your Doomsday pieces in game 2. Game 2, the game goes long, and they say something happens, I don't know. And then there's a game 3 again, but that's enough for them to realize that you don't play Doomsday anymore, or you're not playing it. And they maybe cut their forces of negation and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, game 3, you bring them back in and just go turn 1 Dark Red Doomsday. And so that part of the deck is really cool to me. And I like being flexible. I think it's a hard deck to sideboard against also because typically against Doomsday, you'd be trimming some of your creature removal in order to bring in extra hate cards. But against this deck, you don't really want to do that. So people are like, oh yeah, I know what cards I want to bring in, but I don't know what I want to cut. And so being a hard deck to play against gets you a lot of equity. And I like that about this Tempo Doomsday deck. Now you'll be maybe wondering about some of the weird numbers here, like 1 Murktide, 2 Dazes, 2 Orchestral Masters. Well, it's hard to fit everything into this deck. I am playing 60 cards. And so I kind of had to make cuts and trim things where I did so that the deck functions. And so that's why you've got these weird numbers of things. You'll notice that we're playing essentially the bare minimum of blue spells. Let's go pile up our blues. We have 19 blue spells. Not that many. So it's something that we need to be cognizant of is that, if Ponder is our only pitch card for a Force of Will, we might want to hold on to our Ponder, not just assume that we'll be able to find another blue card for this Force of Will. Now I said Subtlety was kind of lacking, right? So maybe let's go Hydroblast. Okay. Perfect. Perfect? I think so. Anyway, I'm excited to battle this. I will see you all for round 1. Hey everyone, we're back for round 1. We're against Motown 4, who plays Stompy decks usually, so I think I'm going to keep this off of the back of a turn 2 Doomsday. So let's go keep. I'm looking at my opponent's deck here, or their most recent list, to kind of see what sort of things to play around. I don't see chalices. So I think I'm going to hold back the pedal until turn 2. Because I would rather be less clear about what I'm playing because I don't want my opponent to know what to do on their turn 1. You'll notice that some of the cards look a little weird, like this Flooded Strand. Moto is partway through a graphical update, and this is essentially what the work in progress looks like, where the font is too small on these cards. It's not super legible in the small print, but it still works. It'll get better soon. I am thinking about this next land. Look at the list one more time. Yeah, in case there's more Bosages to blow up my lands, I think that I would like this on top. And now I'm at a decision point. So Doomsday causes you to lose your life rounded up. So regardless of whether or not I'm at 19 or 18, after Doomsday I'll go to 9. So this fetch is free to do right now. But if I do that, I can't use it to churn through my pile. Does that matter to me? I think the answer is no, that doesn't matter to me. I will just make sure I include a basic land in my pile. So I'm going to fetch, and I am going to get an Underground Sea, and then I'm going to play a Lotus Petal. 1, 2, 3, Doomsday. Okay, so we have 2 reanimates. So what I can do is I can do Consider, and then I can put an Oracle into the graveyard, and then I can draw a Force of Will. I can have another Oracle as a backup, and then I can have a basic island as my last card. So basic island, Oracle, Force of Will, Oracle, Consider. And now we see what our opponent can do. Yeah, Mox Diamond is fine. The One Ring does not matter. This is the nice part about Doomsday as opposed to other Storm decks, is if you need to, target your opponent with a Tendrils or a Grape Shot or something, then this One Ring is a problem. But if you're just doing your own thing, putting an Oracle into play, then the One Ring is essentially a non-issue. And do we get there? We do, okay. So let's look at their sideboard to help determine what we do. Pyroblasts are going to be very good. Leyline the Void is likely going to come in as well. Veil of Summer and Karn. Okay, so I feel like I want Brazen Borrowers. I think I want Force of Negation. I think I also want Shielders to shut off this whole One Ring engine. I think that the reanimation plan is going to be a lot weaker because there's going to be ley lines and very likely to be Veil of Summers as well. Veils of Summer. So I kind of want these 7 cards at the very least. I think that Hydroblast is also quite reasonable against Pyroblast, Fourth Lingus, Minsk and Boo. So I want these 8 cards then. So what do I cut? Well, I can cut, the 2 reanimates. I can cut all the griefs, to be honest. I'm bringing in counter magic instead of proactive discard. I think that's fine. I have 2 more cards to cut. I could cut down to a single reanimate. Probably do want to do that. Just have the 1 for my oracles. And I can cut. Let's see here. What's the worst card remaining? It's probably a Daze. Given that there's 8 Spirit Guides in this deck, I think it's going to be hard for me to be able to reliably cast Daze and know it's going to work. And so I think I'd rather go like that. So this is how I'm going to sideboard. And we submitted. Okay. Well, this hand does not quite work. It's close. It's really close. There's worlds where I would keep this. But no, let's ship it. Okay, this is better. I'm going to get rid of one of these 3 ponders. Not sure which one of the ponders. Maybe the left one? This one, yeah. I think these 2 ponders are better. These 2 are going to be good cards. This one was a shuffle. And so what I'm looking for at this point is going to be counter magic and additional lands. One's leading off with a Saga and a Petal to maybe Veil or Pyroblast. Could get Pyroblasted here. We did not get Pyroblasted. These cards, I think, are a keep. I know it doesn't have the land, but it does have a force. And I have a Brainstorm and another Ponder to be able to look for this so-called next land drop. Okay, so opponent's only going to be able to make 1 construct, which is also nice. Okay, so we got to shuffle this one. That's good. It means that once, you know, we can just Dark Root Doomsday whenever. Oh, it looks like opponent's not making any constructs. They're doing their own thing. Yeah, I'm going to let that happen. I could force that and try to turn off the pedal, but I don't feel like fighting that battle. I think I'm going to save this force for whatever high impact card there is. Karn the Great Creator. Seems pretty high impact. Force that bad boy, and we'll pitch a Thassa's Oracle to do it, I think. Yeah. Got 1 more in the deck. And there's the Veil that we kind of expected. Okay, so not going to use any artifact mana now. But hopefully we are in good enough shape that that won't matter. I'm going to Brainstorm and just pray to hit a land. Oh no. Okay. That was unfortunate. The reason why I wanted to hit the land there is to have another level of insulation against my opponent going to their Karn Wishboard and getting things that that shut me out of the game. But it doesn't look like that's what's happening. So at this point, I'm going to go Dark Writ and Doomsday. Okay, so let's have an island, fetch land, an underground sea, oh, just an extra land, Oracle, and Force of Will. Yeah, this seems good to me. So we're going to put the 2 non-fetchable lands on the bottom. And then we're going to do Oracle, Force, Delta. And now hopefully we're able to keep this all safe and not lose in the time that we have. Okay, so now I'm going to pass the turn. On the end step, I'm going to fire off a brainstorm. Put away Force of Negation and Island. We can crack this and get the other Underground Sea. And if I draw the island, which I did, I think I'm actually going to pass the turn for one more cycle. And end step, I'm going to hardcast a Brazen Borrower in order to allow me to have extra devotion sitting in play for this Oracle. Or if I bounce the pedal, then opponent won't be able to, all they'll be able to do is Pyroblast anyway. Now they might have Spirit Guides in hand. I'm trying to figure out if they're, because they can always beat the Oracle on the stack with a Pyroblast. So this would be beating specifically Swords to Plowshares, but I'll have 0 cards in the library anyway. So yeah, we're going to do Petty Theft on the Lotus Petal and see what happens. That worked. Okay, now we have an Oracle and we cast it. Pyroblast gets dazed. Probably a Spirit Guide. No Spirit Guide. Okay, so we Doomsdayed, and we got the match 2-0. So this is an example of how we leaned heavier into the plan that can beat our opponent and cut the plan that doesn't. So we're 1-0 in the challenge, and I'll see you all for round 2. Everyone, back for round 2. We're against Ice9, big fan. I assume he's a big fan of Ice9 Kills, the punk emo, somewhere in that genre musical group. I think from New Zealand. Might be incorrect there. Earlier today they were on Reanimator. Today it looks like that is not the case. So this Rabble Master is going to kill us before a Doomsday hits the stack, and so we're countering it. They're on Mono Red Stompy, of course. I'm going to do an Undercity Sewers to get a little bit of Surveil action. That is a perfect draw. Because next turn we'll be able to go Dark Red Doomsday. Or at least that's the intent. Fable is totally fine. I'm not too worried about Fable. Yes, I'm playing out a land. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna use this. Do I want to fetch now? This is the same situation as before. I was going to potentially try to thin out my pile with this, but I think having the basic island already in play is much safer for me. Of course, I can put another underground sea in here with this Scalding Tarn to thin the pile out. Island. And we'll go Dark Writ, Doomsday. Okay, so now question becomes, do we play around... I think I'm going to play around Chalice on 1 as the... or Chalice... because I can potentially daze something else. I'm trying to think about my pile here. So I definitely want an underground sea in it. Or maybe not definitely. Let's see. So bring up the old notepad. I'm going to try to play around the following cards. I'm going to try to play around Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, and Blood Moon. I want to try to beat all 3 of those cards. So consider binning an Oracle, drawing a Reanimate. I would need the Chalice on 1 to not hit, to not stick. I would need the Chalice on 2 to also not, or could exist for that. Blood Moon, I would not be able to answer there because I would need black. So I think that if I go Edge, Oracle, I mean, I can essentially fetch out another land. Underground Sea. And then I can do I guess I want Lotus Petal to beat the Blood Moon. And do I just lose to a Chalice on 2? Can I? And I guess, I put Reanimate as my last card. Because then I get it. I cast the Oracle, it gets countered. And then I can reanimate it from the graveyard. So let's see here. We have Edge, Oracle, Petal, reanimate, UC. And that way, next turn, we can win if nothing bad happens. Because we have an Edge and a Fetch to get us 2 cards through. And then the following turn, we have Petal to beat a Blood Moon, and then we have Reanimate if for some reason there's a Chalice on 2. Yeah, that seems good. So Underground Sea, oops. Done. Underground Sea, Reanimate, Lotus Petal, Thassa's Oracle, Edge of Autumn. So now opponent has 3 looks at something to harm us. But hopefully we are able to dodge those things and get there. It's a very tense turn for me. 2 One Rings being discarded because they don't do anything on this board state. Gemstone Cavern. Okay, so they're playing my list. Bombardiers. So this does 4 plus 2, 6 damage. That's not lethal. Fury after this would be lethal, but try not to put that in the universe, even though I just did. They could be going for a Chalice on 1 now. Oh, they're just dealing me 2. Okay. So I'm going to float blue, sacrifice this land, draw the Oracle, play this, fetch, get an Underground Sea, cast Oracle. Cool. All right. So we definitely want this pile of cards. We probably want these too. We might even want Shieldred. I can anticipate that like Furies and stuff might get cut. I think that Grief is probably too weak. I think the Reanimates for the most part are also just too risky. Street Wraith just loses life. The Bowmasters don't really do enough. So these are like 10 cards I don't really want. The Quicken also doesn't really do anything. So I could cut these 11 and bring in these 11. Sheoldred's kind of like a way to stabilize the board, and it, you know, wrestles with the opposing creatures pretty decently. I'm going to try this post-board configuration. Okay, this has a Force of Negation. It has a Ponder. It has a Brazen Borrower. We don't really want the LED, but there are times that you do actually want an LED and play it passing the turn against Moon Stompy because it lets you beat a Blood Moon, because or like a Turnosphere or what have you, because it's just sitting in play. I'm keeping this. I'm gonna try to do Island Swamp with these 2 lands if I can afford to. It's likely that Fawn would pitch Ponder if I had to because of Brainstorm and LED. Like Brainstorm tucking the LED, meaning that this is a more important spell. But now I even have a duplicate Ponder, so that's fantastic. Maybe this is going to get Pyroblasted. It did not. I do eventually want this. All 3 of these, I think. I guess I'll put Darkrit 3rd and Daze on top. Darkrit is good because it's the way to get triple black with Island Swamp in play. Cabal Ritual is also that. Lotus Petal doesn't do it. But Darkrit obviously turns the swamp into triple black. Cabal Ritual, the reason why you'll see sometimes like Turbo Doomsday lists play a split of Lotus Petal and Cabal Writ, like not going to 4 of either, is that Lotus Petal is more flexible, but Cabal Ritual as a 1 black and adding triple black means that this could be paid off of Island Swamp to convert into triple black. which is pretty cool. So I assume that there's going to be a good turn 2 play coming here. We have a dismember on top of the library, so I think I'm going to, that said, I think I'm going to daze this anyway. Just because I don't know when the daze is going to become useful again. Opponent's sitting on a chalice, maybe thinking about chalice on 0. That's what that pause means to me. Now I am going to play the island again. I was considering playing the polluted delta and fetching a swamp, so I have island swamp completely covered underneath a blood moon. But first of all, I have brazen borrower, meaning that island and a polluted delta tapping for mountain or tapping for red still bounces a blood moon. So I'm not super worried about that. And so it lets me kind of just hold up the island as a dismember plan for this turn. And then ideally next turn what I do is I brainstorm away this LED. S9 Big Fan has taken some big pauses, so I'm going to pause this recording until they get back. They just needed to hear me complain and fast forward immediately. Big fan of that. Is this a threat? Okay, city is going away. Blood moon. Now, I think I'm okay with it for now. Gonna sit on it. Got the borrower. If I do it on opponent's turn, I have a force negation to protect as well. There's the dark ritual that we know about. Really what I'm trying to do here is set up a situation where I have the maximum amount of information prior to putting away cards with this brainstorm. Okay, Blood Moon got bounced. That's really good for me. Opponent's thinking again. And it's now our turn. Okay, another land, not the worst. Start off with a brainstorm. Which again, we were just going to go for a swamp. Now we could win this turn. But that walks into Mindbreak Trap, all sorts of shenanigans. Shenaniganry. I think instead of winning this turn, I'm going to put away another card. Suppose Dismember. And then I can get an Underground Sea and Ponder. And I still have access to Swamp. This feels like Mind Break Trap to me. I was playing 2 in this list, and they pretty clearly copied mine. Yeah, Force of Will is great. Force of Will is so good that I can just go for it and deal with the Mind Break Trap, I think. No. I think I'm going to wait. Because they need to take their next turn to play something anyway. Yep, I do not care about that Blood Moon anymore. So now I can go Darkrit, Doomsday, and so what I could do now, and I think I will, is I can go Brainstorm, or I can go Edge into Consider. No, I can't. I need to Brainstorm first. Or no, I go Edge into Consider, Brainstorm into Days Petal Oracle. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. So we'll go Oracle, Oracle, Hydroblast, Reanimate, and Consider. I think those are the cards I want. So I'll go Oracle at the end, Hydroblast 4th, Reanimate 3rd, Oracle 2nd, Consider on top. And now on my opponent's turn, I can use this Edge of Autumn. A Rabble Master does not matter. Like, I could care about this, but I don't. So now I'm gonna Edge, sacking the Underground Sea. Going to draw Consider. This is how we beat Mind Break Trap. So I'm going to Consider and put the Oracle into the graveyard. Draw Reanimate. Now on my turn, I now have Hydroblast, Reanimate, Force. Let's reanimate this Oracle. And got a lot of protection. And we didn't need any of it. Very cool. We win. We're 4-1 games, and I will, and 2-0 in the challenge. I'll see you all for round 3. Hey everyone, we're back for round 3. We're on the draw. We're against Fingers 1991, who I expect is on some form of Scaminator. He is a pretty good multi-format grinder, or quite good multi-format grinder. I didn't mean to understate his skill. And he tends to play the best deck in formats, so that is my guess as to what he's playing. Put Force on top. Hopefully we have long enough to draw it. Doesn't feel like we do. But if there is no reanimation spell right now, we're in good shape. Okay, I'm gonna hold off because I haven't seen a reanimation spell. I guess we might still be in it. Hitting my reanimates, or one of my reanimates, this likely means that this is the animate dead for Atraxa? Reanimate for Atraxa, yeah. Okay. 10 cards. What you got for me? Okay, I think I've seen enough to know that I'm going to get dazed and wastelanded out of the game. Another entomb and animate dead. So, kept the dazed, didn't keep an entomb. But what's going to happen here is, I guess, I'm going to brainstorm and hope for the best. It's going to get dazed. I'm going to have to force it. It's unfortunate, but this is the only line that I have that has a chance of winning. But that's not good. That's not good at all. Put away both Doomsdays. I'll play out the pedal past phases because I'm responsible like that. And the problem is this wasteland is just sitting in the yard. Ooh, okay. No, I still can't beat it. I'm just going to concede. Okay. So against Scaminator, the Doomsday part of the deck is much, much weaker. So I think that I want to cut most of it. Keep this around for grief stuff. Or let's see. I want to bring in Childred, Spellbomb, Duress, Fatal Push, Dismember. So I have 9 cards I kind of want to bring in. Borrowers are kind of on the fence. I'll leave them there. It is hard to cobble together a Doomsday against them. So let's see here. Since they saw they saw the whole Doomsday thing. They saw reanimates, but like, I don't think they're going to sideboard that heavily. So I got the whole Doomsday package. Like this, I could do. Yeah, I kind of like that. For this game too. Yeah, I guess I'll just try this. Okay, got the Grief Scam opening. We'll do it. So before I play my land, I'm going to do Grief Pitching Fatal Push so I can figure out if I need to fetch Island Swamp or not. So I will take Force of Negation, I suppose. Because otherwise, that's a card that my opponent gets to use profitably here. And then I think I'm going to fetch a basic swamp and reanimate the grief. And take ponder. So the reason I took ponder there is because with the one land opening, it's pretty risky to brainstorm off of this. Not crazy risky, but it's not like super free. And so I can basically threaten. I don't even want to threaten a Bowmaster. I think I'm just going to do Island Ponder. Set up my draws. I don't want these. Spellbomb is a draw that plays into a daze that I don't really want to play into because I know it's there and I know he's got only one land. So what this is going to be an end step surveil to try to look for a land, and then going to be an untap brainstorm to really dig for that aforementioned land. Oh, it was right on top. So now I will Fatal Push the Voidwalker. This gets forced. Okay, force pitching Brainstorm. Now I could play, I'm going to play this Spellbomb into a daze because I want this Brazen Borrower to not be played into a daze. Okay, Spellbomb resolved. The daze plan did not work out there. But we know that opponent has Animate Dead and Daze in hand. And now we're just kind of trading back and forth. One thing to note is I cannot draw a card with Spellbomb while Voidwalker is in play, because Spellbomb only works if, what am I trying to say? Spellbomb only works if it's able to hit the graveyard. I think I take this whole hit, and then I end step try to bounce the Dothy. This is very likely to get dazed. Yep. So now I can petty theft this Dothy Voidwalker and attack. Now I'm winning the race, which is really what matters. Opponent could try to go for an Animate Dead on Troll, but obviously I have that covered. So now with this on the stack, I'm going to pop the Spellbomb. Okay. And they got a card they want on top. I'm going to attack. And I think I'm just going to hold up this Force and also this Brazen Barber. Ponder was probably the card they were trying to keep. Shuffled off the Ponder. Cool. Okay, so game 3. I don't feel like I want the Doomsday plan against the grief scam on the draw. I think it's just too risky. I think this is what we're doing. Running it back. Okay, well, it's a no-lander, but it's a nice hand. All right, we'll keep this. I will bin a... I'm gonna get rid of the Shieldred because I'm afraid of it getting griefed and re... No, I have a Fatal Push for griefed and reanimating it. I think I'll bin the days. Just all my other cards I feel pretty important right now. Let's get Island. Let's play a Lotus Petal out. I just don't want to get dazed on random stuff. Fantastic. Bowmaster on top. No shuffle. This feels pretty good. Voidwalker, okay. So if I brainstorm now, I know my top card and I know I don't necessarily want it. It's another Shieldred. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Fatal Push the Voidwalker right now. And then I think I will brainstorm if opponent reanimates the Voidwalker. I'm trying to build the graveyard for Murktide Regent. Cycling Troll. I think that I'm just going to brainstorm end step. I was considering snapping off the Bowmaster, but I'm just going to try to play around days this game. If I play around days until like one random sequence when I play into days, I just make days really good for no reason. Hey, Darkrit. Darkrit's good. So we'll put away... So if I go Grief Pitch, Bowmaster, I could just do Darkrit Grief. And then follow it up with a Murktide. Or a Bowmaster? Yeah, that's what I'll do. Do Darkrit. Grief. Nice that this has to get cast, or is able to get cast. Force Pitching Brainstorm. Again, I'm going to just try to play around days. That's too tempting. Sorry, Days. I know you're there. Yeah, it was right there, but I was just too tempting to ignore. My willpower is not that good. Voidwalker in. Okay, now I play a Murktide Regent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think I'm going to take Grief as my last card because that's the one I'm more scared of opponent reanimating. Ah, that's rough. Okay, well now if I draw a land, I can try to jam this Shieldred of the Apocalypse into play. If I draw an untapped land, I should say. I will put that on top so I can play around the next days. Or a Wasteland. Well, that's rough. That's really rough. Because now what happens is Shieldred gets taken, and opponent could even sack the Voidwalker to put Shieldred on the stack. You're thinking about it. They opted not to. Now I'm just putting Murktide into play. Unfortunately, this is a 2-turn clock, so I've got 1 draw step to draw out of this. So I'm going to have to fetch on instep just to thin and try to find something with action. Come on, good stuff. That was not good stuff. GG. All right, 2 and 1. I'll see you all for round 4. Everyone, we're against Boy for round 4. We're on the play this time. Hand is kind of suspect, but I'm going to keep it. Got Consider Brainstorm, which is kind of a funny way to clear a board. And technically I can kind of get an opponent with a Dark Ritual Bowmaster if the game gets to that point. I anticipate that they're on Reanimator. Okay. So let's start with a Consider we'll see 2 cards and not Brainstorm lock us, so I'm going to go with Consider. And we get to cycle for added value. That's pretty sick. Do I jam a Murktide right now? I think I do. I don't think my opponent has time to answer it. 6/6 Murktide coming in. Okay, Force Pitch Days. What you gonna do? Oh no. That's what they're gonna do. Well, it's not quite what I want. Need land now. That kind of land. I could have cantripped last turn, but I thought that it was, oh, wow. When Reanimate took 7 off that. I'm gonna do a Grief pitching Dark Ritual. See what's going on in their hand. A Brainstorm and a Wasteland and a Borrower, huh? I'm gonna take the Brainstorm. Then I can try to play around the rest. So I know about Brazen Borrower and Wasteland in their hand. So I should fetch basics. Fortunately, I don't have much of a choice now. I'm going to ponder because I need to find more land, which I did. I will keep, I'm basically trying to set this up so I can bin the Street Wraith and draw. So I'm going to draw 2 cards here. So I'm going to go Street Wraith, Undercity Sewers, Force of Will, no shuffle. I'm going to get Wastelanded here. Almost assuredly. Okay, they've been in Entomb, that makes sense. Now they're gonna hit me for 3. And now I'm gonna draw my Surveil Undercity Sewers, play that, put the Street Wraith in the yard, and pass the turn. Okay. I need to double check the math, but that might be really good for me. Well, no, they have a Borrower in hand that I know about, but I have Force. I could beat this if I think I can beat the Force of Will. Like, yes, if I go Reanimate on Troll, they attempt to Petty Theft it, I force that. And then I think I win. Although I also might have just screwed up the math pretty horrifically. It's late. I'm tired. Think it's an excuse? I don't know. Not even a good excuse. I just messed up the math here. Yeah, I lose this on board. I don't know what I was doing. This was foolish of me. So I have to hope for a my opponent to brainstorm. Roll cycle, yeah. It's not a brainstorm, unfortunately. They're not doing it. Yeah, I just, for some reason, I screwed up who was attacking first in the order when I did the math to reanimate that troll. Threw that game away, unfortunately. Not something I should really try to do in a challenge. Opponent didn't see anything Doomsday related. I'm going to try to make myself super threat dense. So I'm going to go aggressively aggressively jamming threats into my opponent until things stick on the play for game 2. I'm bringing one Nihil Spellbomb over to the other days. Yeah. I think just going super into playing to the board and not worrying about counter magic is the way to go, since I think my opponent expects me to be on a much more reanimation mirror type thing where they want to cut their entombs. So I'm hoping that they board that part of the deck out. And then I Doomsday them. Okay, on the play for game 2. This hand is way too land heavy. This hand is a bit too land light. I think I go to 5. Yeah, I'm glad I did. This is better. I can put away a Grief and a Spellbomb. And so I can go Dark Rit, I could turn 1 Dark Rit Grief into a Murktide Regent as soon as I find a second land. So I'll put away Spellbomb and second Grief. And this might resolve. It did not. Force Pitch Jays. Okay, now if I draw another land, I can just throw a Murktide into play. A fetch land, I should say. Okay, well, that's not the draw I want. There's the troll that I expected. Okay, no reanimation spell is very fortunate. Think I'm gonna grief pitching Cabal Ritual just to see what's going on in my opponent's hand. Forcible Borrower, Grief Troll. I'll take Borrower. Make them force this Murktide. Or grief it away. So they've got a grief going on. They've got a third land. No, they don't have a third. Now they have a third land. They probably drew another one of, like another blue card to feel safe doing this. They probably put a land on top so that next turn they're going to hardcast grief. So I really like to draw a land right now. Did not. Okay. I am basically going to get grief next turn, and there's a chance they take Doomsday, but they're probably going to take Fatal Push. But we'll see. At this point, I'm just really hoping that I can find a second land. Thinking long and hard on this brainstorm, which makes me a little bit worried about their options. Yeah, Fatal Push. Okay, so. Yeah, I guess I'm going to ponder now and try to find the land so I can Fatal Push. Could not find the land. Yeah, gonna just try to find the land. Did not find the land. That's rough. And I didn't want to keep the Dark Rit for Dark Rit Doomsday because I know that they have a force and I thought it was way too likely they have two things. Okay. So step one, let's Fatal Push this Void Walker. Walker of the Void. Force negation. Okay. Now let's do some math. So if I go to 8 with a reanimate, then opponent hits me to 5. I'd actually go to 7. Yeah, opponent hits me to 4. I attack. They hit me to 1. I attack. They kill me. So reanimating troll loses me the game again. But is that my best option? Do I have better options? Just try to rip a top deck? That seems bad. I think I'm gonna try to reanimate a grief. And then top deck well. Seems like a slightly better plan. This might get forced, which is kind of my best outcome in a weird way. Did not get forced. I will once again take the Brazen Borrower. Okay, so now I'm like super losing the race, but there's a world where I draw a removal spell and can win. Not likely, but it's not nothing. That doesn't work anymore. Okay, I've got one more draw step. And they have to not have found a blue card in those 2 draws. And since they haven't played a land, and they haven't griefed me, it seems very unlikely that they don't have a blue card. But who knows? Ponder. Well, I will do it, yeah. I lose here, but I'm just letting it play out. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of nice, but it's just not nearly enough. I'm going to concede. Unfortunately, 2-2 now. I feel kind of bad about these games. It's not quite coming together. Pull it together for round 5. See you all in a minute. Hello, we are back for round 5, playing against our third blue-black Scaminator opponent. Hopefully we get one. I think that I'm going to play a land and a petal and pass the turn. This opens me up to being able to brainstorm in response to a grief opening. And otherwise I can play it a little bit safer. If there's that grief opening, I'm going to brainstorm. This might get forced, which is actually not the worst. Okay, well, it didn't. Let's do a... I'm going to put the reanimate on top. Ponder under it. This hand is, in a weird way, kind of grief-proof, since it's all mana sources. We'll see what opponent does. Probably take Dark Rit. They might take Petal. Petal's the better card right now. They disagree. Dark Rit it is. Now, do they reanimate Grief to take the Petal? They do. Okay. In that case, I'm going to fetch the Surveil land on end step because I don't want that reanimate anymore. Said I don't want it anymore. Okay. Not bad. Now, depending upon how much time I think I have, I could play Doomsday into or around days. Also depends upon what my next draw is and what their next draw is. There's a lot of different factors now. See how the game plays out. I've been getting blown out by daisies all night, which is kind of why I'm scared of it. Okay, given that I have a force now, I think that I'm going to sit for another turn because if I can draw a blue card, I'll have force backup, which is obviously something that I would like. So like if I draw, yeah, another blue card would be great. Going to 13 here. Pondering. At this point, I think it's very likely that they have a force of their own since they chose not to shuffle off this first ponder. I think I'm going to fetch with both of these lands to reduce the number of lands in my deck and increase the odds that I draw a blue card. Oh, Bowmaster is not a bad draw. See if I can jam it into play and get rid of this grief or something. I'm going to play it end step here. It might motivate my opponent to act either by forcing it or what have you. Okay, so now trying to figure out my line to victory here. By Doomsday going to 4 and I lose the Bowmaster, I just lose the game. So I think I'm going to hold off for another turn. Because the way that this Bowmaster will get removed is the Bowmaster, just to make that clear as to why I think that going to 4 and then taking 3 is lethal is because I'm anticipating a Bowmaster in there. The pettiest of thefts has occurred. And the entombiest of tombs is in there. What are we getting? Troll, okay. Yep, I go to 5. Okay, I guess I lose. So that was rough. Maybe I should have done the Doomsday the turn that I thought that Bowmaster was the way that would remove my Bowmaster. That was maybe just a mistake. I think I'm going to do the same sideboarding plan that I did last time. I liked it. It just didn't pan out for me. But yeah, let's cut forces, cut dazes. And then cut, like, what'd I do? Can't even remember what I did. I'm struggling tonight. Well, what do I want to do? If I can't remember what I did, let's try to find a plan of something I want to do. I think I can cut a Street Wraith. Cut LED. And then I can cut like, and I like the reanimates for my opponent's stuff too. Cut. I could just like not bring in the dresses. Yeah, let's do that. Or maybe let's keep dazes on the play. There we go. Let's cut both the cyclers. Okay, we've got grief reanimate. How lucky are we feeling? Pitch dismember. Since we're already going to be taking a bunch of life loss with this grief. Speaking of grief, wow. Rough. Okay, so I'll take force and then daze. An opponent's going to wasteland me. No. They should have. But now we have functional mana coming in, so we're happy about that. Since I know about 2 wastelands, I can still fetch basics now. There's a swamp of the snow-covered variety. 2 wastelands are what I know about. 1 delta's gone from things I know about. Opponent's not acting that interested in wastelanding me. I guess I'll do sewers then. Okay. The theft was indeed petty. Put away Cabalrit and Oracle. I think I'm going to dark rid out a grief now. Grief is their only hit. Yeah. Okay. So now we are doing the weirdest race we could imagine. They're going to swing a borrower in. That's why they're not wastelanding me. I'll play Thassa's Oracle. I don't win the game because I have 45 cards in library. Put Island on top. And now I get to hold up this Fatal Push, and once they wasteland me, I'll be able to Fatal Push the borrower because I'll have lost a permanent from the board. No shuffle. Brainstorming. Okay. The brainiest of storms. Okay, and Delta. Not wastelanding me? Buddy. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna blow up the borrower now. I have to do it at this point because of the revolt, but it got Fatal Pushed. Or, sorry, it got Force of Willed. Fatal Push got Force of Willed. Now we crunch. Yeah. In for 4. And now this race is one that I do believe I win. I really like my opponent's pixel basics. I think they look really cool. Okay, I will attack. And my opponent has Bowmaster. And I reanimate Grief, I lose. Right? I go to 4, they play it. If they have Bowmaster, do I lose anyway? Why am I so in my head about this? I'm going to reanimate it. Okay, so I guess I lose to exactly Bowmaster now. Opponent's well aware. Come on, Bowmaster is what they said. They no way they have it at this point. Yeah. Troll. Opponent got trolled. Okay, so match tied up. I think on the draw, I'm not going to be able to cobble together a Doomsday win. So I want to cut these cards, I think. If I do that, I can bring in these cards. Maybe I keep the Quicken. Do I like this? Not particularly. It does give me the chance to Quicken reanimate someone, which is all I want to do. Just want to Quicken reanimate in response to a reanimate, and I don't think that's too much to ask. Okay. Cantrip Heavy Hand and a Bowmaster punish my own cantrips. Opponent on 6 cards. Given that I have more lands, I think I'm gonna just fetch all duels. A force. And a spell bomb. Very happy about those. Troll is in the dungeon. So if I can get a spell bomb down next turn, that's my plan. Yeah, I guess I'll force it. I don't have an answer available. Now I'm going to play out the spell bomb. And I'm going to fetch and ponder. If I have to use the spell bomb without being able to draw a card from value, then so be it. I don't think I want the forces and griefs at this point. Kind of want like creature removal and stuff like that. So, okay, opponent's bidding their own forces too. Bidding that force means they either have a force already, or they don't have a blue card. Blue count in both of our decks is pretty low. That's a good draw. Happy about that one. I'm playing the Underground Sea so that I could like brainstorm with through days. Yep. The Bowmaster is in. Obviously, I'll play my own. I will ping the army. See if there's a second Bowmaster incoming. Brainstorm incoming. Yep, makes sense. And again, I'm just going to try to not play into days, and this time I'm going to actually do it, or like not do it. Last time I talked a lot about it, and then played into days and got dazed and lost. It was very sad. Forced pitching days. That's fine. I'll take the extra damage to play around days with this dismember. Now opponent needs to choose if they're going to try to reanimate where they point it. But now I get to reanimate. That's perfect. This is very convenient for me. I will hit their Bowmaster. I will cast a Brainstorm. Ooh. Or I'm going to do Ponder, Brainstorm on top. I'll reanimate opponent's Troll. Yeah, I guess so. I'll bin the Brainstorm. And now I'm feeling pretty good about this game. My poor little bowmaster has bit the dust. But I've got a troll that is, well, they just surveilled to the top, so I was going to say is going to go maybe the distance, but now I'm not so sure. Oh, it's just a brainstorm. I mean, obviously that makes sense to keep on top, but it's not literally the answer, it's just a really good card selection spell instead. Now, did they find the answer is the question. They found a Voidwalker, which is not the answer. In fact, it's a card that's going to eat a 3-mana 0-life Dismember. Ponder. Okay. One, two, three. No shuffle. Attack with the troll. Now I can just kind of try to run griefs repeatedly until morale improves. So unfortunately I'm taking 2 this turn. I have a grief on top. And I'm not literally taking lethal yet. So that's good. Take that grief. Attack for 6. And now I guess we hope and pray. Opponent is pausing. Waiting for 2 + 2 is 5. This is the paying costs. Don't. Oh, okay. Not gonna draw a card. And we got there. Very cool. GG. All right, so we're 3-2 now, and beat Scaminator once. Tough matchup. Tough matchup for regular Doomsday as well. That's not any exception here. Hopefully we're able to 3-2 sneak into, or 4-2 sneak into top 8. We'll try. Got to win last round first, but you know our breakers are pretty good. Same breakers is like mogged and stuff. Oh boy, lost. That's not good for us. Motown is our round 1 opponent, sitting at 3-2, which is pretty cool. Fingers is 4-1. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try my best. And wherever I fall in the final standings is where I fall. See you all for round 6. Hey everyone, we're back for round 6. We're against Mogged, who is a terrifyingly good opponent. We're gonna keep. Probably on some sort of scam. I think I'm going to play out the pedal. I know it's a little bit of an info leak, but I want to see if I can potentially play around a days if I need to, or like days and days back. Lots of reasons. This regular reanimator. This is mono black scam. Swamp swamp. What's happening? What's happening to me? Caustic Bronco. The Snorse. Snorse is in. Yeah, this is regular mono black scam. If I can get some fast mana, I can win right now. Here we go. So we can go Darkrit, Doomsday, and then I can brainstorm and I can just try to figure out if I can be extra safe here with keeping this daze in play, or if I even need to. Like I could brainstorm into grief. Sorry, not grief. Like a reanimate. And consider an oracle. Then I don't get to grief anyway. Yeah, I'll just do the perfect pile. Not swamp. Street Wraith. Oracle. LED. I'm going to assume this is just mono black with no interaction. LED and consider. So we're gonna brainstorm into the first three. We got Oracle, Edge, 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter because we're brainstorming. And then I will put back, I'll put back Quicken. And it doesn't matter, and then I'll put Consider on top. Play out LED. Oh, if I had kept Quicken, I could have done it with this pedal. That's how I should have done this. Whatever. Cycle, pay 2, discard my hand, draw the Consider, bin the Quicken, cycle, Oracle. Okay, against mono black turbo scam that I just turned to Doomsday against, there's no way that Doomsday is going to work post board. Like none at all. Those are looking real bad. Those are the cards that are looking pretty atrocious. As far as cards that are looking better than that, got these 9. Bowmasters are serviceable. They kill Bowmasters. I'm going to run that. I think this seems like a reasonable line for game 2. Shieldred's not this end-all be-all, but it gives me something to accelerate into, and I need some muscle. I need some way to outmuscle my opponent. Okay. Coming up for game 2. This is a turn 1 Shieldred. Also got to reanimate. See what happens. Okay. Now if I get my Shieldred hit and reanimated, which is a risk, I'll have to draw one of my removal spells for it. Brazen Borrower is the perfect one if I can choose how I draw it up. But we'll see. Okay, Dark Writ. What's that mean? I'm afraid of Opposition Agent. I do have Quicken Reanimate. Okay. Guess I'm going to brainstorm. Yeah, having a reanimate on top is really good because I can expose the reanimate. Like I can show reanimate like this, it gets taken. And then I use the one I put on top to reanimate my opponent's grief. Okay, there's the Oppo agent and a Caustic Bronco. At this point, maybe I'm not quite as worried about the opposition agent. Got a daze. Oh, that's annoying. That was maybe the most punishing draw that I could have gotten out of all that. But Children will be in soon, so that'll be nice. See here. Guess I don't need the Dark Writ. Right? Because this is land 3, land 4, or mana source with the pedal. We'll go 1, 2, 3, no shuffle. Unfortunately, lose my grief. Play this. Written to the yard. Okay, that's fine. Does not matter. Now I will be happy to have a Shieldred coming down. But it might jam an opposition agent just to get me off of Shieldred mana, which is a kind of viable line. Reasonable, I suppose. Now I play Shieldred, the Apocalypse, and I happily try to run away with the game. Yep, fatal or opposition agent is in. Roll attack. I will petty theft the orc army. And I could ponder this turn and not lose out too hard with power toughness stuff, but because only 3 damage was marked on the Shieldred. But I think I would rather just hold it up. It's the troll. It's grief. Okay. But I took my days. They're not blocking, so they may as well attack. Your new days. Very nice. And I'm just gonna try to ride this Shieldred to victory. Gonna flash in a Brazen Borrower at end of turn. Caustic Bronco is fine. I am not going to trade the Shieldred with the Grief and the Bronco, though. No interest in doing that. I'd rather just let Shieldred do all the heavy lifting. Speaking of heavy lifting, let's see the Bronco get in there. What's it drawing? Swamp. It's not going to do it, mugged. Cool. We are 4-2. So, yeah. Guaranteed top 16. Off chance we top 8. I have to wait it out, but you are going to see where I land in just a second. Hey, we snuck into 8th place, and let's see by how much. We snuck into 8th place by the exact same match percent. Oh my goodness, and slightly better game win percentage. Wow. Okay, wow. Incredible. And we're against I believe a Beanstalk control deck in the first round of the top 8. I'll see you all in a sec. Everyone, here we are for the quarterfinals against the beans. I think that I'm going to keep this hand. Got a force and a grief. I could throw the Cabal Writ and Dark Writ together for this turn 1 grief, but I think I would rather turn 2 a grief. Don't need extra land at this point. Pedal isn't really something I need either. But at least I'm able to jam this grief now. I think I let the brainstorm happen because it's an inefficient brainstorm. I don't want to waste my force on it. I would definitely daze that brainstorm in a heartbeat, but I'm not forcing it. Endurance, Loam, Fourth Erlingus, Terminus, Ponder. I think I take the Endurance, because that beats both the Doomsday plan and the Reanimation plan. It also means that, oh, up the Beanstalk. Get out of here. I was going to say is, I lost my train of thought, but ooh, perfect. I could, if my opponent life from the loam and like had it in the yard, I could reanimate Endurance and wipe their life from the loam. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about. Fortunately, we just top decked Doomsday, which will make this game a lot easier. So I'm going to go and do back-to-back oracles. So I can do one's got a wasteland as well that I need to be aware of. I could do something like I've been consider. Yeah, consider's gone. So that makes things a little bit harder. Cycle. I guess I play around running wastelands. Like I could go like cycle, like Street Wraith Edge and Oracle, and then reanimate. Street Wraith. Street Wraith Edge. Oracle. Reanimate. In another land. Make it an island. No. It's probably for the reanimate, so I need it to be an underground sea. Could technically be a swamp, but rather be a UC at that point. So we've got UC, reanimate, Oracle, Street Wraith, Edge. Now I kind of hope that they aggressively wasteland me here. I think I will win the game if they do that. Brainstorm, okay. Okay, they wastelanded. I'm gonna attack here. I'm gonna try to play around. Let me think. So I can play around Swords to Plowshares by attacking right now. I think they found a forest or Swords to Plowshares, and I should not attack yet. Or I should not go for Oracle. I have to throw away this Edge of Autumn to do that. I think I'm going to wait one more turn. And I could potentially get Oracle plus Reanimate in one turn cycle. Or if they loam back the Wasteland and Wasteland me, then that also doesn't, it taps them out entirely. Yep, so they loam. I crack Edge. Draw that. My next card's Reanimate, so it doesn't work quite yet. So at this point, since Oracle getting countered beats me regardless, I'm going to not play out the Lotus Petal because there's a chance that that would eat it to a Leyline Binding, and I don't want to lose to a Leyline Binding that I don't have to lose to. Is this a 4th Erlingus for 1? To try to draw a card? Sure is. Okay, I guess we'll see if they have a Force of Will. They have it? They don't. Very cool. Okay, I feel like we got away with something. Got away with a lot of things sneaking to top 8 like that. But against our opponent now, who is on 4-color control, Beanstalk control, we want Duresses, we want Shieldrids. We might want a couple Force Negations, but this is the main package we're looking at here. I don't think I want Dazes. I don't need Quicken. I don't need LED. I can take out like this package of quick hits for these guys. Borrowers also actually seem better than Force Negations. Not necessarily for bouncing things, maybe for bouncing things, like if they play Triumph of St. Catherine or what have you, but more just for being a 3-1 attacker with Flash and a blue card for Force. So I'm going to screenshot the deck just so I can reference it. And I guess when building a Doomsday file, I'll have the I'll have that available to me already. Sand is solid. That reads Veil of Summer to me. I'm going to do a basic island. I just don't feel like getting wasted here. Hmm. I am going to shuffle. Okay. Found a darker anyway. I think I'm going to grief pitching Cabal here. They did not have Veil. Oh no, they did. They just F6'd quickly to get me. Okay. Come on, land. Okay. So I'll put away Oracle and I'll put away one more grief. I will try to reanimate this grief. Unsurprised if I get veiled again. I did not get veiled again. I suppose I will take the endurance. Make opponent use their plows. Okay, let's see here. What do we do? Play Misty. Plow Grief. Grief is out of here. So I'm going to play a Dark Writ and then Grief. Because I know about the plow and I'd like to take this Force of Will as well. This is essentially a 2 for 2. Okay. Everything is empty. Playing Mystic Sanctuary. What are we getting back? Veil, okay. So I'll make sure to Bowmaster main phase. Or upkeep, I suppose. Don't think I want that. Since I know about the veil on top, I think I'm just going to dress now. Okay, nothing. I could have saved it for Brainstorm alternatively, but what you going to do? So I know about Veil in hand. Let's fire off a Brainstorm. Let's shuffle up a Ponder. I will play that in case I draw a 5th land. In which case I'll want to have access to Hardcast Force. Brainstorm. Okay, so I'm going to throw these triggers at my Orc army. Or maybe I throw one. I'm going to put 1 at opponent and 2 at my Orc army. So if they want to save out on 2 damage, they can blow their veil now. Otherwise, yeah, these trigger. What I think I could get away with. 1 little point of damage. I'll send another point of damage now at random deck. Still not getting the veil out of their hands. Loam. That does help with cantripping, kind of. They can dredge a loam instead of casting things. Another bowmaster. Great. You know about the veil, so we should not play into veil. I also don't want to play into terminus. Terminus would make me very sad. Dress down? Yeah, it's fine. Could have bowmastered there, but I'm presenting lethal. Again, I gotta be aware of veil. GG's. On to the top 4. Opponent's just having fun. Checking out my deck with their surgical. Taking they're taking game actions, which is their right. And we got there. Woohoo! Top 4 time. Hello, we're against fingers again for the top 4. Fancy running into you here. So I did lose the die roll. I don't remember if I won or lost against fingers last time. But this time we lost the die roll. This hand is serviceable. You don't really want to mulligan too much against the grief decks, which is the Thoughtseize decks in general, because what are you mulliganing to? They're just going to Thoughtseize you, right? So that's the risk there. I think I'm just going to do nothing and pass. I kind of want to use this surveil land. Use this land as a surveil land. Pondering off their UC after they played a Delta so that they play around my days that I don't have. Thinking hard on this ponder too. They kept with the ponder. On end step, we're going to surveil. A Doomsday would actually be pretty good right now. UC is not necessary. I will ponder. Grief. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to hold back on the pedals. Okay, we have become wastelanded. Fingers ponders. Now what happens here? We draw grief. And I think I just passed the turn again. I believe I have a land below this, which I'm going to keep now because I have the wasteland. But yeah, ideally at this point with no pressure on the board, I feel like my best path forward is getting a Doomsday onto the stack. I'm also like 10,000% sure that Fingers has like 1, if not 2 dazes. Because he's basically not taking actions. And that means that his hand is super reactive. Oh, it's a quicken. Okay, I'll quicken. And I'll play out a pedal. Just I don't have to discard a hand size if I play out pedal. And I want to be able to just kind of hard cast these griefs, so that's the reasoning for not doing grief pitching grief. And I'm not cycling the Street Wraith because there's nothing else to reanimate right now, and I don't really want my opponent to just reanimate a Street Wraith on me. Okay. If they take a grief, I'll cycle the Street Wraith with so that I can try to find a land and have the pedal to play through days. And now that there's a better thing to reanimate than grief there, looking pretty good. Okay. I should have led on the pedal, I think, for playing around days reasons. But at least now I'll have Edge of Autumn against the Wasteland, so that's pretty cool. And opponent might daze us anyway to make us crack a pedal. It's like, it's a totally reasonable thing to do. There's the days that we know and love. And I think I take a grief. Because otherwise it was just getting hard cast in worst case, and I didn't want that to happen. We can't block each other, so we're attacking. So now I go Edge of Autumn, cycle land. Drew another pedal. So Dark Ritual can actually do a kind of funny blue pitch for Forcible impression, where you do Dark Rit and then tap for blue. So like Right here I go. Dark red. Blue, blue, horse. And the reason I did that is because of the clock. I need to try to win the race somehow. Well, as of this point, I guess I kind of regret blowing the pedal there, but I had no way of knowing I was going to draw exactly Doomsday, or if that was either the game plan I wanted to do here. I think I was more likely to do well with a fair card, like a Bowmaster or a Murktide, or another Grief, or Reanimate, stuff like that. There's a lot more of those in sum total than the 4 Doomsdays, so I played the odds in that way. But my opponent and I will continue turning our griefs sideways at each other until one of us relents. Yeah, Entomb. Reanimate, Force of Will backup. I mean, I know they have the Force in the days, so this is just like... No, you got it. But I gotta make you do it. Yep, okay. Now we're super dead, but always see what they pick. They have a Force. We lost regardless, but you know. Oh, how unlucky. Okay. I think I will try that jamming threats at the opponent until they relent thing. So if I cut these cards, bring in these. Do I cut one Oracle? I think I can cut one Oracle. I don't have any more. Don't have any more Force of Wills. And let's see, what's the fourth card? The final card that we want to cut. Oh, it's the dresses. I'll keep one dress. No, I'll put a spell bomb in. I think I had this exact same neuron flowchart last time I did this. Neuron activation successful. Okay. Keep. And I think I'm going to do the Grief Pitch Dark Ret. And then Reanimate. So they have 2 borrowers. So I guess I'll take both the borrowers. But I'll brainstorm first. Those are good. And I think I want Fatal Push hidden slightly more than Brainstorm. So I'll take the other Brazen Borrower now. And now opponent is free to do as they please. The Delta is in play. Grief Pitch Troll has been declared. Brainstorm has been ripped. And now I will play, well, first I'll attack. And then I'll play Undercity Sewers and keep the reanimate on top. See where this goes. Probably into a Surveil land, into Ponder Shuffle, into Lose. Oh my goodness. Okay, they're looking for it. And if they don't have it, I do. I've got the reanimate on top. So, chose not to shuffle. Oh no. Please don't. Okay, cool. Please don't reanimate. No. No, I had it. I had it on top. I wanted to use it. It would have been really funny. No, I'm not gonna say it yet. The game's over-ish, but it's not actual over yet. Ponder Force of Will, Flooded Stern, Brazen Borrower. Just those. No big. I'm just you know, saying good game, talking about it. Wish my opponents congrats. And the finals. All right, so Fingers has our number, 1991 perhaps. But yeah, this was a really fun top 4 run. So I will concede and really happy, yeah, back-to-back top 4s with Tempo Doomsday. There it is, the Tempo and the Doomsday. Thank you, Deck. That was very convenient of you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be making a lot of MH3 content starting next week, YOLOing challenges with brand new MH3 cards, because playing challenges is a lot of fun, and it's nice to have a, way to get some like weekly serious competition in, and it's a really cool thing that Magic Online offers this, and I love it. I love Legacy, obviously, but whatever formats you are your favorite, Magic Online is a great place to do these, and they've they launched a lot of challenges recently, like these, events that you can earn several hundred dollars worth of in-game currency, and fight for glory. So it's very cool that we top forward yet again with this. I'm gonna make a Twitter post. My Twitter handle is @Maxtortion, same as my display name here. Anyway, this was a lot of fun, and I'll see you all next week for MH3. Bye bye.